you know your salary is different from your income? I'll say that again. Your salary is very different from your income.
That's right.
They're not the same thing. Your salary is determined by the people that you work for. Your income is determined by God.
That's good.
Come on, that's so good. Come on.
So do not limit God with your salary.
So good.
Rather, believe God for the increase in the income to come in.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
That means you can take your salary, turn that into a seed, and expect the income to come from God.
Come on.
Are you listening to me? And that's why this is one of the most important things that I've actually learned even in the ministry that turned and changed the way I thought. And I remember one particular time I was actually with Dr. Rodney in the front row. And if you remember the story I told you last night, I was talking about how about 7 years ago I sold whatever I had when I was in the service, when I heard, God gives seed to the sower. I sold everything that I had. And at that time I was broke. And I gave everything that I had. And at that time I actually made a covenant with God, and I said, God, if a day ever comes when you bless me, and I'm sitting in this service, and Pastor Rodney has to do something, if I have $100,000, I will sell the $100,000 without a second thought. That was 7 years ago. I forgot about that. But God did not. And so I'm in Dr. Rodney's service, sitting in the front row. I'm sitting there. The Lord speaks to me and says, I want you to sow $100,000. I said, I rebuke that devil in the name of Jesus. This is not from God. Get thee behind me, Satan. Like I prayed every prayer, I rebuke every devil that I could rebuke. The ones that names that I did know and the ones that I didn't know, I rebuked all of them. I looked at my bank account, that's all I had. And I said, no, I'm not putting that money in. This was about a couple of months ago. Probably 6 months ago. And then I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Then I went for lunch. And the Lord spoke to me again and said, I want you to sow $100,000. I said, no, not happening. I woke up in the morning. The first thing I woke up with, sow $100,000. And I told the Lord, this is the third time you're telling me. I'm not going to make you tell me the fourth time. I'm going to obey you. I called up Victoria, who runs my ministry, finances and everything. I called her. I said, Victoria, bring me a check of $100,000. She said, excuse me? Bring me a check of $100,000. And she goes and she writes up the check. Because I don't even know how to write checks. I've never written a check in my life. I only signed the checks. So she brings me the check, and I decided, and she said, what name do I put it in? I said, I don't know yet. I'll just give me the check. I need $100,000. My grandmother would tell me, if your butt was not attached to you, you'd leave that behind wherever you go. Which is a fact. I forget everything. So she looks at me, she knows that about me. She goes, it has no name on it, please keep it safe. I said, okay, and I took the check with me, and I went down and I gave it to Dr. Rodney in his hand, and I said, here's a check of $100,000. The Lord asked me to sow it. And remember, that's all I had. And I told the Lord that's all I had. God spoke to me and said, that's all I want. And I took that and I put it in the offering. $100,000. I've never given $100,000 in my life. And now we were about to do a crusade in New Jersey. And that was one of the biggest crusades we've ever done in the United States of America. And we went to New Jersey to preach. And now we had to pay for that crusade over $84,000. And meanwhile, I had preachers and leaders coming in from all over, America to actually be with us at the meeting. And I actually paid for their hotels, their stay, their food, and everything. And now our bank account is almost at minus something dollars. Because we gave everything away. And I go to New Jersey and I land up there. What would take us 2 weeks to bring in financially, we brought it in the first 4 days of the crusade. And let me tell you, our crowds began to increase in such a ridiculous amount that the place was jammed out front to back, side to side. And I'm looking at the increase that the Lord was giving me, and I'm like, I can't believe what's going on. And the Lord spoke to me and said, if you had not obeyed me that day, all this would not be happening.